You read a sentence on the LSAT, you know every single word in it, but you get to the end and you think to yourself, wait, what did that just say? So you read it again and again, maybe a third time, and now you've burned 30 seconds on one sentence. And so you're behind and you're stressed. And the worst part is, you still don't really get it. Most people think this is a focus problem, like maybe you need more sleep, or maybe you need to concentrate harder. Maybe you're not a strong reader. But that's not what's happening. The LSAT is doing something very specific to your brain on purpose. And once I show you what it is, you're going to read these passages completely differently. Now, I want to show you the 4 tricks the LSAT uses to overload your brain, and then I'm going to give you 2 ways to fight back. Trick number 1 is familiar words with unfamiliar meanings. So take the word economy. You hear that word, you think money, stock market, inflation. But then you're reading an LSAT passage and it says the economy of the author's prose. Of course, that has nothing to do with money. Here, economy means keeping things short and tight, being efficient with words. Same word, totally different meaning, and your brain just got tricked. Because your brain saw the word economy and grabbed the meaning it knows best, the one it's used 1,000 times. You kept reading and the sentence fell apart. So now you've got to go back, let go of the wrong meaning, find the right one, reread the sentence, and hold on to everything else at the same time. That is 5 different steps for translating one word. And the LSAT does this constantly. For example, the word critical. You think that means important. But on the LSAT, it might mean negative or disapproving. Like saying the author is critical of the theory doesn't mean the author thinks it's important, it means the author thinks it's wrong. Or the word qualified. You think that means skilled. But a qualified success means a limited success, a partial one, almost the opposite of what you expected. Or the word argument. In real life, that means a fight. On the LSAT, it means a set of reasons that lead to a conclusion, totally different. Every single one of these eats up brain power, and the LSAT doesn't use just one per paragraph, it stacks them. Trick number 2 is double negatives, like saying, for example, the hypothesis is not without merit. Your brain has to process 2 negatives and figure out they cancel out. It just means the hypothesis does have merit, but your brain had to do a backflip to get there. Or saying, it is not uncommon. That just means it is common. But it takes you an extra beat to figure that out, and that extra beat costs you. Trick number 3, vague reference words. The passage says something like, this phenomenon, or such a claim, or the former. And it's pointing back to something from 1 or 2 sentences ago. So now you've got to hold your place in the current sentence, jump back, figure out what it's referring to, and then come back. And that's a lot of mental juggling. Trick number 4 is abstract language. The LSAT loves to say entity when it means company, or the practice when it means the habit of doing something specific, or this approach when it means this one particular policy. Every time they go abstract, you've got to do the work of making it concrete in your head, and that costs energy. Now, here is why all of this matters so much. Your brain can only juggle about 5 things at once. And that is what the research says. It's not just me talking here. Think of it like you've got 5 slots in your head and that's all you've got. And so watch what happens on a single LSAT sentence. Quote, the critic's argument that the unqualified success of the initiative is not without precedent is, in the estimation of the author, insufficiently critical of the approach's underlying economy. End quote. I doubt anyone could tell me what that means. Even I'm not sure what that means. But let's back up for a second. Let me just walk you through what your brain just went through there. When they say argument, does that mean a fight? No, it means a logical case, slot 1. When they say unqualified success, does that mean they're not skilled enough? No, it means a total complete success, slot 2. When they say not without precedent, that's a double negative. That means it has happened before, that's slot 3. When they say critical, does that mean important? No, it means efficiency, slot 5. 5 slots used up just decoding the words. You've got nothing left to actually think about what the sentence is saying. In plain English, that sentence actually meant the author thinks the critics aren't tough enough when they say the initiative's big success has happened before and might just be about doing things cheaply. That's it, that is all it's saying. But the way it's written, it's almost impossible to get there on a first read. And so, what do you do about this? I've got 2 techniques for you. Technique number 1 is translate as you go. You don't want to wait until the end of the sentence to figure out what it means. You translate each piece as you hit it. So let's say you hit a word that feels a little off. You pause for half a second. You ask yourself, what does this word mean right here, right now? You don't let your brain grab the easy meaning. You pick the right one and then you keep going. Or you see a vague phrase like such a claim. You don't skip past it. You stop and you ask, what claim? Oh, they're talking about the idea that rent control makes housing work. Good. Now you've got it locked in. And so you freed up a slot instead of losing one. Or let's say you hit a double negative, like not without merit. So you translate it right there. That means it does have merit. Done. That way, you're not carrying that twisted phrasing forward in your head. You straighten it out and you move on. Technique number 2, you read for structure first. Before you worry about understanding every word, you figure out the big picture. Who's talking? What side are they on? Are they for something or against something? Most LSAT passages have a simple structure underneath all the fancy language. Someone makes a claim, someone else pushes back, the author weighs in. If you can grab that structure on your first read, you've got a frame to hang everything else on. Now, when you go back to the tricky sentences, you already know the point they're trying to make. You're just filling in the details. And that's way easier than trying to decode everything cold. This is what separates 160 scores from 170 scores on Reading Comp. I've seen it over and over in 20 years of coaching the LSAT. This is not about reading speed or vocabulary or intelligence. It's just the ability to catch these traps in real time and clear them before they eat up all your brain space, and having a structure in your head so you know where each piece fits. Now, those who score 170 plus aren't smarter than you. They just trained themselves to do this. It's a habit and you can build it. And so here's where you want to start. Next time you practice, start off untimed. And I know it feels wrong when timing's already a problem, but for just a few sections, I want you to try slowing down, catching the tricky word meanings, translating the vague phrases, and simplifying those double negatives. Ask yourself who is arguing what. Say it out loud if you need to. And I know it's going to feel slow at first, and that's fine, because once it clicks, your speed's going to come back and your comprehension's going to skyrocket. And so if you're sitting there rereading LSAT and sentences over and over and thinking something is wrong with you, nothing is wrong with you. The test is built to overload your brain on purpose. And so once you know the tricks it uses, you know how to fight back. So start translating as you go. Read for structure first. It is going to change everything.